Rod Liddle, let's talk about Glasgow. My quick observation is this. I see that Lisa Nandy, the Culture Secretary, was inquiring of the BBC. Even she's fed up with the BBC now. She was inquiring essentially of the Director General, Tim Davie. Why is it you never ever sack anyone? I mean, I would suggest, Tim, if you're listening, that you start with yourself. But as I predicted, and I'm sure you did too, after the Glasgow shambles, the debacle, deputy heads have indeed started to roll. The head of music, Lorna Clark, 215 grand a year. She's been asked to step back. And according to the BBC, a small number of other senior executives have been asked to step back. Lisa Nandy asking, well, why don't you ever fire anything for anyone? She's got a good point, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has got a good point. And I was impressed with Nandy for raising the issue because, I don't particularly object to Bob Vylan and
Kneecap.
I'm pretty much the same as you. I believe in freedom of speech and that they should be able to say what they want. But of course, the BBC shouldn't be broadcasting it, and they shouldn't. But the problem I think the BBC has is that, and this is what I was doing in this piece, where I didn't call for Glastonbury to have a bomb dropped on it. I said what would happen if one was, which is something which has escaped the attention of the leader of Brighton Council, who's reported to Sussex Police.
I forgot. Have you heard from the police yet?
No. I would have thought. What I want to hear from the police is that they've arrested her for wasting police time. Yeah. This stupid cow, Bella Sankey, who clearly is incapable of reading, incapable of actually divining what is satire, but incapable of reading straightforward words such as, of course, we must not do this because it would be horrific and psychopathic.
You actually put that in. You actually had a sentence in, didn't you? I was going to ask you whether or not the subs told you to put that in.
Stupid woman.
Yeah.
But that's, if you live in Brighton, good luck to you. But no, the problem, I think, and what I was trying to get at in that article was that the BBC thinks that we're all Glasgow. That Glasgow brings us all together, much as did Jeff Hurst's hat-trick and the Cenotaph and the Diamond Jubilee. It thinks we're all on board with this, and we're not. OK, I enjoyed Neil Young and Biffy Clyro, but that's about it, frankly.
Yeah.
I would rather saw off my right leg than wallow around in the mud in Glastonbury, listening to all those idiots talking their political rubbish. We don't have any time for that. And if you're going to televise Glasgow, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get that stuff.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll do next time, because they have announced they're going to be a lot more careful about live music. Well, arguably, considering they show Glasgow from start to finish over 4 laboriously long days, there's a lot of risky moments in that, aren't there?
Yeah, what they need to do is just change tack. They ought to sort of, next summer, come live from a death metal venue instead of Glasgow, where the audience is a bit, where it's full of sort of feverish incel fascists, and see if that brings the country together any better.
I'll tell you what the BBC would love to cover would be like a Roger Waters concert, where he always spends 2 to 3 hours like lambasting Israel, to the extent that a lot of people believe that the old Pink Floyd Rock and Me border on anti-Semitism. We're going to be having a look at that story later on. Did you see that he, as soon as Palestine action were prescribed, he, of course, recorded a video and put out his passionate support of that activist group. Nothing's happened to him so far. So what's the point of prescribing an organisation if you're allowed to support it openly?
It's just window dressing. Almost everything this government does is window dressing. While the economy goes to hell and the migrants pour into the country, they're busy doing things which they hope will cheer the public up, but which don't. I mean, God, even Dave Gilmour's had enough of Waters. Christ.
It was his wife, David Gilmour's wife, said that This is just his wife saying. I think her name is Polly. She called it's called Roger Waters the worst anti-Semite in the world.
I've known a couple who probably between me and you, Kev.
Yeah. Roger's up there though. Give him a break. Give him a break. Very quickly, Rod, because I was going to ask you about this. So, what do you think about the King's speech that he'll be giving right about now? I would have thought at the state banquet for the mystifying state visit of Emmanuel Macron. He's going to be announcing there are no borders between Britain and France. Why would he say something so ridiculous?
I thought he was parodying Labour's asylum seeker policies, which would suggest that he's right. But it's Charles again. Well, he's not lecturing us on the virtues of Islam and what a wonderful religion it is, or trying to force down our throats those dreadful chocolate box neo-Georgian houses he has a hankering for. He's talking about how there are no borders anywhere. Just get a grip, mate. I don't think anyone takes him seriously.
Well, certainly I don't. Do you think does he have speech writers, or does he write this garbage himself?
I suspect he will have speech writers, but I suspect he writes it himself. If only we had Princess Anne. Instead.
Exactly. So what my thought was, if he gets given this speech that somebody else has written, I'm sure you're right, he'll go through, because he fancies himself as a wordsmith. No one knows why. But he'll go through the script. When he sees this sentence, there are no borders between Britain and France, do you think he just goes, yeah, that's great, love that, love that? I mean, what goes on in his head?
Well, I don't think an awful lot, frankly. I don't think there's very much there. Isn't this a man who got 2 E's at A level or something?
Yeah. He's the worst qualified. They say he's the worst qualified student ever to get into Cambridge University.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I mean, that's in common with most of the royal family, of course. They're not the brightest sparks, are they? Apart from Andrew, obviously.
He's in the clear. Did you see that? About
Yes.
With the Epstein files. So apparently his travel ban is now over. He can go over to America. Apparently.
No, he'll be off to Dubai to play golf again.
Yeah. Or do you think he'll go back to Pedo Island, see if there's any action still going on?
Any action there, yes. But they're not terribly bright. I mean, the one thing which keeps them afloat is the fact that Queen Elizabeth did a rather wonderful job for 70 years, and that the alternative is having someone like the lead singer of the 1975 as our president.
Did you see them at Glastonbury? What was that?
I cannot stand the band, so I turned off as soon as they came on.
He was trying to be sort of like rock and roll rebel, so he came on with a pint of Guinness and a cigarette, and then sort of start singing songs that make the Spice Girls songs look sophisticated.
Yeah, no, they sound like warmed up Duran Duran. I can't bear them.
If only it was that good, Rod. What are you going to lead on in the Sun this week?
I don't know. I mean, the asylum thing. I mean, I took your I took your advice and led on one of your stories.
That the Warwick Council.
Yeah. She's in big trouble now.
Good. Let's keep the pressure up on her, yeah?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Have you seen her face, by the way? She looks like the kind of person who would act like this.
Yes, exactly. Yes, very, very pleased with herself.
Yeah.
Got that great broad smile.
Yeah, that's right. Aren't I wonderful? Look at my virtue. You can see me signalling it. I just hope she loses her £200,000 a year job and reflects on what she did.
So do I. And I also hope that the 18-year-old leader of
George Finch,
Warwickshire Council starts acting like an 18-year-old, orders free pizzas for everybody, gets the cider in.
Yes. Come on, council leader, act your age. Yeah, exactly right. Rod, always a pleasure to talk to you.